So if you've been keeping up with my channel lately, you know that I have been playing through the original Star Stable games. And by doing so, I have played through all of the original games. And to no one's surprise, there are a lot of things from those games that I really miss, including a lot of characters. So what better video to make than to count down the top 10 original characters that I want to see returned to the world of Jorvik. Kicking off the list at number 10 is Clarence Stillwater, or Clarence Stillwell as he's called in the comics. I mean, we can never get enough of villainous characters, can we? And we can never get enough of villainous companies. We already know Dark Core, which plays a big part in the main story, and we also have GED. Who else would be better to add to the mix than Dark Cord? No, but all jokes aside, something that I find pretty interesting about his character is that his story was never quite finished in the comics, because the comics ended after 2 volumes. Although he's not the most flattering villain, I would still very much like to see him return in SSO just for the nostalgia and the reference, and for maybe completing the unfinished story of Star Academy. So that grants him a number 10 spot on the list. My neighbor really couldn't choose a worse time to start mowing the lawn. Okay, ignore my changed outfit, I'm just gonna continue as if nothing happened. Coming in at spot number 9 is Josh. Now, some of you may be very confused when I'm saying that, because obviously we have Josh in SSO, so what am I talking about? Well, it has been debated whether or not Josh in SSO is the same as the Josh we had back in the days in Starshine Legacy, because they do have a couple of things in common, like sharing the same name and being close to Lisa. But then on the other hand, Josh in SSO has a very different style and personality than Josh in Starshine Legacy. And besides, he looks nothing like him. Not even back in the day when they reused the same models from Starshine Legacy. So it's probably safe to assume that it's not the same character. But anyway, Josh from Starshine Legacy was a guy in the Soul Riders class who Anne had a crush on. Josh, on the other hand, had a crush on Lisa, the new girl in town who was different from all other girls. I really wonder how that scenario would age in today's SSO. And therefore, it's at number 9. Moving on, at the number 8 spot, we have Lilith. Honestly, I think Lilith must be one of the most iconic villains in this franchise. For some time, Lilith could be seen working at Cool Cuts in Silverglade Village, but when the village was updated, Lilith was replaced. She also never had any quests or dialogue or anything, she was just there. But one of the big reasons why I want to see Lilith back in SSO is not just because she's iconic as a villain, but we also already have her partner in crime from back in the days, Lance, in the game, who we've had a couple of quests with and who's engaged to marry. It would be real interesting to add Lilith to the mix to see what kind of mayhem would unfold itself. At spot number 7, we have Disco. Ah yes, Disco, the most famous dog in all of Jorvik, who may or may not be a human in disguise. Video right there. Disco is kinda like the mascot of Star Academy, and one of the things that makes him really interesting is this lingering mystery about who he really is and where he came from. Because the Star Academy comics ended after 2 volumes, the story of Disco was never completed, nor was it ever addressed in the games. I will say though, we did actually used to have Disco in SSO. He was sitting on a barrel in Old Silverglade Village. But he has since been removed for unknown reasons. I have no idea why, and I don't know about you, but I really want him back, because this mystery is quite interesting. At number 6, we have Maurice Bergen. He's most famously known as being the headmaster of Star Academy, but did you also know that he is the brother of Mario at the observatory? The reason why I want this character back though is because of the really interesting story of his wife falling into a mysterious coma and him searching for a cure called the Parthenope. Which, by the way, in SSO can definitely be tied up to Lisa's powers and hence the SSO story. This mystery was part of the overall plot of Star Academy and it could very well be tied to SSO as well. And that is very interesting. And besides, being the brother of Mario, they have a pretty natural excuse to bring him in. And speaking of brothers, at number 5 we have Coyote Wetton. So Coyote is known for being the brother of Herman, and he is only present in Star Stable the Summer Riders. But that is still enough to give him quite a backstory of him moving away from Jorvik into the United States of America to get into rodeo. But in the opening credits, it is hinted that there is something more to Coyote than what we can see, and that he is keeping secrets from us. By the end of the game, it seems like this secret is that he got hurt, but I don't find that a very satisfying reveal to that mystery. I feel like SSO could definitely add to this. Continuing the trend of brothers and Wettons, we have Mr. Wetton at number 4. Yeah, in case you didn't know, Herman has 2 brothers, and this one is from Star Academy. He is known as the owner of the Blacklight nightclub and record label, and is mainly responsible for getting the Flaming Quartet up and going. His character also shows up in the Summer Riders, where he is preparing a ghost house. Honestly, Mr. Wetton just seems like an overall really fun character to have in the game. I mean, he's running nightclubs and building ghost house. It wouldn't surprise me if he took over Idris' circus. But as weird as it is that this is my reason, my biggest reason for wanting him back is that I really want to know what his first name is. I want an official first name for Mr. Wetton. Don't get me wrong, he gave Herman and Coyote a last name, but I want to know his first name. I want to know the full names of these 3 brothers. And also, I want the 3 brothers to be reunited. So, I want him back. Before counting down the top 3, I want to give some honorable mentions. Eva von Blissen is, as you probably know, Anne's mother, and she is very relevant right now. She made an appearance in one of the Starshine Legacy comics, but that is sadly the only time we've seen her. With all the things happening in the main story right now, it would feel very natural to have her back. But because she never made an appearance in the game and only had that one appearance in the comics, she didn't quite make the list. Joseph Summers is also a character that's kind of relevant right now, following the quest with Ronnie Bob Summers. He is the infant son of Ronnie Bob in Star Stable The Spring Riders, which makes him the brother of Marley, Barney, Carney, and Courtney. But because he's just an infant and we had that one quest with him, he didn't quite make the list either. I would also like to mention Pierre, who was Britney's love interest in Star Academy, Mrs. Graham the teacher, and Grimp the janitor. Okay, so the top 3. Most people who have watched my videos before probably know where I'm going with this list. At number 3 we have Britney. She is part of the Flaming Quartet, the main squad of Star Academy, and she feels like such a big character to not be a part of SSO. Britney is kind of like the diva of the group. She looks up to big celebrities and dreams about becoming a superstar just like them. It definitely seems like she's the most talented singer of the group, since that is pretty much the only focus of hers. It also says she's not that good at dancing, so there's not a lot of options. Being a close friend of Lisa, she has a pretty natural entrance into the world of SSO. So what are you waiting for? Bring her back! Number 2 on the list is none other than Kyomi. She's known as the dancer of the group as she loves dancing, especially street dance. She's a girl with plenty of backbone, and even if people doubt her, she knows exactly how to get things her way. She's obviously part of the Flaming Quartet, but even before that, she and Kevin were good friends. Outside of Star Academy, she also shows up in Star Stable The Summer Riders, where she works at Cod Point Stables. Although it can be argued she should probably stick to singing and dancing. And of course, the number 1 character that I want returned to the world of Jorvik is Kevin. Where do I even start with this guy? He is a musical genius, and this band would not even exist without Kevin, because he does all the work. He plays practically every instrument out there, he composes music, and he also knows a lot about computers and digital programs. And he's pretty humble about it too, like he's actually insecure about his talents. He wants to help everyone out whichever way he can, and he puts everyone's needs in front of his own, and he doesn't recognize how much talent he actually has. Protect this boy at all costs! In addition to Star Academy, he shows up in all 4 of the original Star Stable games. And some fun facts would be that he's from the same neighborhood as Alex, and he has a secret crush on Kyomi. So that would mark the end of my top 10 list of original characters that I want returned to the world of Jorvik. I want to know from you guys what you think of this list and what kind of characters you want to see return to the game. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, if you did, I'll see you around. Bye!